Hi everyone, I'm Deanne from Newfoundland, Canada. Welcome to my Flostube channel, Stitching on the Rock. We are at episode 57. Yay! Hi. Welcome to anyone who's new. I'm so glad you decided to check out my channel, and I hope you subscribe. If you've been around for a while, I'm sorry it took me so long to get back. I wish I had this big excuse, but I don't, except that it's summer. And summer just seems to be a little crazy. There's no really schedule. Aaron is here 95% of the time, and even though he doesn't bother me and doesn't comment, I just feel subconscious doing this when he's in the house. And then when he's not here, I feel like I need to be doing all my errands and running around and everything, and any projects I need to tackle in the house. So it's just been everyday life during the summer. School starts up again in 2 weeks. I can't believe he's back for his last year. But once he gets back, I'm hoping to get back onto a 2 to 3 week schedule of posting videos. What else has been going on? I can't remember if the last time I filmed was before Aaron's birthday or after, but yeah, and I now have a 17-year-old, and that blows my mind. What else is going on? My phone just went off. I have a new setup here today, and we'll see how that goes. My mom got COVID for the very first time ever. So yeah, that was a week of really stuck to myself, because my sister and brother-in-law, who help out a lot with Aaron and help with errands and that, they're in Florida. They're due back this afternoon, and my mom had COVID, so it was basically Aaron and I. It was like we were on an island, because those are the people we interact with the most, and we couldn't do that with any of them. What else? The weather, it's been really humid. We've had one of the best summers we've had in years, but it's been very humid. It's extremely humid today. I have my window open if you hear a bit of background noise, but we're getting the winds and the rains that are the tail end of Ernesto overnight. Hopefully my sister and them will be back and safe in their house before that hits. They're supposed to get back, I think, around 3 o'clock, so they should get here before it. And I've been watching my Blue Jays struggle all season, and I watched the Summer Olympics faithfully. I'm a big Olympic fan. And that's what all of my stitching today has to do with, the Olympics, sort of. And this is as close to a mid-year whip parade as you're going to see from me, because I think there was 3, maybe 4 pieces that I actually didn't stitch on out of my 25-ish whips. So I found the prompt, and I know I mentioned it in my last video, Stitch the Olympics, that was hosted by the Naptime Stitcher, and I participated. Stitched every day of the Olympics, sat down and watched pretty much everything. Thank goodness for PVRs, because there are so many commercials during the Olympics. I tried to write things down in the order of the days, and then partway through I noticed I missed a day, and 2, maybe 3 pieces I stitched on 2 different days. So I'm gonna just share those. Obviously I can't split the picture of the cross stitch and only show you part of it, what I stitched one day and not the other. So you're gonna get to see 2 days worth of stitching on a couple of them. But let's just jump in, and I'm gonna kind of tell you the days and kind of tell you what I was supposed to stitch on. But like I said, some days I missed them, put them in the wrong order. But for the opening ceremony, then I have my exercise of notes here that I got to read them off of, and you all know that my eyesight is terrible, so the book will probably be up here for half of it. So the opening ceremonies, you had to stitch on something that you started in 2024, and then for the synchronized swimming, you had to stitch on something that was part of a SAL. So for both of those, I stitched on my latest Pinker and Pumpkin house, and I put pictures up here of what they all are supposed to look like when they're done. So the latest one in the PNP 6 Houses Sal that was hosted by Mama Loves You GB that I heard from Darlene Dion. This is let me see, January, March, May, July. So this is house number 4. January, March, May. Yeah, house number 4 out of 6. And I'm doing Susan's salt box, Susan's summer salt box. And this is where we are. And so I spent 2 days stitching on it during the Olympics. So I'm getting close. I'm supposed to have this finished by the end of the month, and I probably should. I will probably take a couple of days this week and finish it off. So I just have this part to fill in, the windows to fill in, and then all the outer stuff, which shouldn't take more than 2 or 3 days. And so there's that one. Secondly, for the Parade of Nations, it was to stitch on something that was patriotic to one of the countries. And of course, I pulled out my Quaker flag sal that is hosted by Wombat Hollowcrafts and Darvania Lee Designs. And the design is on Etsy, and it's designed by the Visters. And it is for the 2024 Quaker flag sal. And here is where we are. So I got, on that day, I put in 741 stitches, and I'm at 9.73%. So I completed this motif and moved on to, and got the outline of that motif done. And once again, still love it. Stitching it 1/1 on 28 count with sulky threads. And there are a load of people that I know stitching the Canadian flag, and they're all stitching in different areas. And one of Darlene Dion's last video, she started in the middle, so she's working on the gray part. So she and I have gone back and forth about the gray and whether we like the gray or not. Because obviously the Canadian flag has no gray in it. But she said someone she watched said that the gray is actually the negative part between the white. So just that made me see it better. We'll see. I haven't gotten to it. I'm doing the whole red column and then I'm moving over to the gray. So we'll see how I feel about it when I stitch on it. So next we had the Summer Olympics, which was something celebrating summer. So in my house, as anyone who's been here for a while knows, that it's not summer without baseball. So I picked up Mini Hometown Hero Baseball by Donna Gelsinger, and I put in 515 stitches in it, and it's at 6.23%. It's stitched 1/1 on 28 count sapphire blue. So I brought the jersey down, and then I stitched on the baseball hat, and I did a little bit more up here in this brown. So getting out of the off-white a bit more, which I really like. And there is that one. So then we did the Olympic rings, which was to stitch on something that either a fabric or a thread that was one of the colors of the Olympic rings, which you know is red and blue and green and black and yellow. I think that's all of them. And white. Maybe white too. No, I should know that after watching them for so long. But I picked up Quick Stitch Snowflake Wonder by Lisa Victoria, and I put in 500 stitches. Oh, did I tell you that my 515 stitches on Hometown Hero Baseball got me to 6.23%? My 500 stitches in Snowflake Wonder got me to 23.89%. So here we are. Let's see if I can get it all in. Here we go. So what I stitched mostly on his snout and his neck, all that yellow. And I'm getting around his head with some greens and things. So those were Olympic colors. And it's also stitched 2 over 1 on 28 count ice blue. So that qualified for the prompt as well. And he's really coming along. I'm really pleased with how he's going. Next up was swimming, which was stitch on something with water. So I picked River's Edge by Kevin and Daniel because it obviously it's by a river, it has water, and I put in 630 stitches. I'm at 20.78%. This one is stitched 1 over 1 on lichen gray. So here we are. Now for this one, it's going to be harder to tell you where I stitch, but I'm basically picking a color up here in the corner and just stitching across as far as I can get it to go. And this one I'm stitching for my son, Aaron. I'm hoping to have it completed by the time he graduates in June of next year. So I have to pick up my pace. But I have a prompt idea that came from another challenge that I was stitching during the Olympics that I'll tell you about later. And I'm taking that prompt and running with it. And I'm hopefully going to get to my year-end goals for my full coverages. So next was cycling, which was to stitch with something round in it. And so the only thing I had in my whip pile that had something round in it was bird and berries. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Apologies for that. My phone rang. That was my mom. Aaron is actually at my mother's for a few nights. That's why he's not here while I'm doing my video. They were coming to get a couple of things that he wanted, and it's pouring rain out, so they're gonna wait. Hopefully I'll get through the video before they turn up. Anyway, something round. The only thing that I had in my whip that was round was bird and berries, which is this one. And it's from Stony Creek Collection, July, August 1984. And I was doing this as part of the SAL, I guess, that Helen D decided to host in January. That was the Book It SAL, which was to do things from books or magazines that you had. So here is where I got it stitched 2 over 2 on 28 count coffee, Lugana. Actually, I got really far. The bird was difficult to stitch because black and white pattern, which I'm not used to, and the symbols all are very close and the colors are all very close, but he's done. So I just have to finish the ring around him, and there's a few long stitches, I think. Bring it back up to show you. So the ring, and there's a bit of snow, I think, down here, and a bit more branch, and then I guess the pine. I'm not doing the square or the holly in the center. So that got quite a bit of, very close, and it won't take me long to get that finished. So that was something round. Next was the modern pentathlon, and I did which was part of a series, and also gymnastics was something choreographed by your favorite designer or one of your favorite designers. So for both of those prompts I used Jeanette Douglas's Fleur de Lis. So it's part of the Canadian Journey series, and she's one of my favorite designers ever since she came out with this series so long ago. So, oh, there is all of, nope, there is all of what I have completed. What I stitched on during this, for this prompt, was I finished this row with the little big X's across it. Then I did the whales, then I did the fish, then I did this one, and then I did Je me souviens, which is I remember, and which is on the Quebec license plates as well. And please excuse my French. I'm not a French. I don't have the accent. So that is, did I write down? I know there are 34 rows in total, and I have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 out of 34. So I'm very pleased with the progress that got made on that one. Next was beach volleyball, which was to stitch with something that has more than one person on it. I only have one width that has that, and that is Quick Stitch Pride and Prejudice Color Expansion by Amy Stewart. So I got 610 stitches completed during the prompt, and since we've been finished with this, I have done 265 stitches. So I am at a total of 875 stitches since you last saw it, and I'm at 13.06%. And it is stitched. Oh, I didn't tell you that the Fleur de Lis was stitched on a 28 count antique white Lugana, and some of it is 2/2 and some of it is 1/1. This is stitched 1/1 on 28 count, and it's just called Blue. And let's make sure I show it to you correctly. Yes. So here is the whole thing, and during the prompts I've kind of just been stitching, as you can see, down the side here. A little tiny bit more on Darcy, maybe a little tiny bit more over here, but here is where we are. There. And I this is what I'm working on for the prompt that I'm working on now, or one of the ones. I'm actually working on two. So that was beach volleyball. Rowing was to stitch on something that had rows or border, and so I picked up my Little Things sampler by Stitches Through the Years, right here, and here we are. This is stitched 1/2 on 36 count. 36 count. I had my cards here because I knew I was going to end up forgetting something. 36 count light mocha. Sort of ironed it. It's already wrinkled where I folded it. So what I stitched on during the prompt, I completed this motif. I stitched this motif, and I stitched the line all the way down, and there is a darker line here that I stitched some. So it didn't turn out too badly. I love the pattern. I love the feel of the fabric. I don't like counting. I have to count and recount and triple count to make sure that everything lines up perfectly. Thank goodness the border doesn't go all the way around, or I'd be... Okay, next was the Olympic Village, which was stitch something with a house or a building. And this one kind of got me stuck for a little while, but I picked up Home for Christmas by Donna Gelsinger. Stitched 1/1 on 28 count ivory. I put in 516 stitches and I'm at 1.81%. And here we are. This is the whole thing. Let me see. Well, sort of. I need longer arms. Let me see if I go back right there. That's what I have completed. Oh, sorry. Red woolies and green threads. Ooh. So I basically did the same thing I was doing with the other one, which was just pick a color and take it as far as I could take it. And, for the prompt for the day. And yeah. Next, for marathon, stitch on one of your oldest, stitch on one of your oldest stitches, whips. And also for closing ceremonies, stitch on something you plan to finish in 2024. And I know that anyone who's been here knows that I want to finish Mini Sunflower by Marion Broom by the end of the year. So I stitched on those for the 2 days. I got 917 stitches in and I'm at 65.01%. And here we are. It's coming slowly because now is the time. Well, other than the bottom green parts, it's very tedious because I'm really into ninja stitches in this sunflower. For those 2 days, I stitched mainly in the middle of this one and down here, and trying to get some of the greens filled in down there. But I'm hoping that it will get done by the end of the year. It's getting very, very close now, and it won't be long. Okay. Weightlifting. Stitch on something you can't wait. W-E-I-G-H-T, to stitch on. Now, you could interpret that two ways, I think. Which one was something you're very excited and can't wait to stitch on, or something that to me, weighs you down when you stitch, or, kind of is hard to stitch on because it's not heavy, but you know what I mean? Like it stresses or strains you. So I took it the second way. Excuse me. And I picked up to do and stitch on a spirited mandala, but ink circles. Stitched 2/2 on unknown orange. Oh, did I tell you? I think I said that Home for Christmas was on ivory. 1/128. This is 1/1 on 25 count, and the color is called Daffodil. It's yellow. It looks really ivory in the camera, but it's yellow, and I don't know. It's almost the same color as the sunflowers. And I'm stitching 1/1 on or 2/2 on a 28 count unknown orange opalescent using Bryn and Nettles Belle Island ore, and I'm almost out of it. And the girls are opening their store, I think the 5th of September. They said was they were going to be open, and the 27th was going to be their grand opening. Let me double check that for you. for anyone who's watching that is in and around the St. John's area, in case you don't know. Okay. Give me 1 second. Bring it up on my tablet here. Obviously, when you want something to work quickly, it's slow. Can you hear the rain? It's supposed to pour tonight, and we're supposed to get like 60, 70 gust winds. Yes. Soft opening date of Thursday, September 5th. Grand opening will be Saturday, September 21st, not 27th, 21st. So if you're in the St. John's area, and hopefully they will have some bell out the door. Anyway, here is where I am. Oh, nope, it's this way. So while I was working on it for that prompt day, I got this ghost finished and did everything down there on the side. Yeah, so I've got like 2/3 of it left, and I'm like down 2 or 3 threads. So hopefully I will get some more when they open up. So that was weightlifting. Soccer was stitch toward your goal on any piece. So I picked mini almost winter. I get almost winter and warm at home mixed up. Every time I tell you guys about them, I had to make sure. But yes, it's almost winter by Leonid Afromov. Mini almost winter by Leonid Afromov. I got 300 stitches in it, and it's at 11.60%. So here is where we are. This one. So this is 1/2. Anything that you see that's orange or red, I stitched. And it was nice to get some color in. Because it's got a lot of black in it. But it's a real fun stitch too. Now, so that was stitched, that was soccer. I'm just looking for my little notebook. Oh, sorry. I have to add stitches to this one when I tell you about it. So, the last one was equestrian, which was stitch on something with an animal. So I picked Mini Warm at Home by Irina Garshimov. And during the Olympics, I stitched 500 stitches on it. And since then, I have stitched 320 stitches, which means I've stitched 820 stitches, and I'm at 9.04%. It's stitched 1/1 on 28 count ivory, and here is where we are. I go a little tiny bit further with that one line across the top, but I'm not going to take it out of the Q-snap. Oh, yeah, a little bit further, but I'm not going to take it out of the Q-snap because I'm stitching on it today. So during the Olympics, I stitched this darker gray area, and since then I've been filling in some black up there. That's where that one is. And that was everything I stitched on in the 2 weeks that the Olympics were on, except after my last video I found another prompt, which was Stitch the Medals, and it was hosted by Blushing Pink Stitches, I think it is. I'll link her below as well. I know she has a floss tube. And it was for every bronze medal. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. That was my mother again. Here I thought I was gonna be. There would be no one here, no one to bother me. Cat, you don't see the cat bothering me. Anyway, back to stitch the medals. You had to stitch 60 stitches for every bronze medal, 80 stitches for every silver medal, and 100 stitches for every gold medal. So I thought it was a great idea to get some progress done on a piece that I really need progress on. So I decided to stitch on Queen of Hearts by Rachel Anderson. And Canada, well, they did the best that they've ever done at a Summer Olympics. They got 9 gold for 900 stitches, 7 silver for 560 stitches, and 11 bronze for 660 stitches, which came to 2,120 stitches. Then we increased our overall medal intake from the Tokyo Olympics by 3 medals, 2 gold and a bronze. So I stitched an extra 260 stitches, which gave me 2,380 stitches in total that I did on Queen of Hearts, which is stitched 1/1 on Dahlia even weave. And I decided to break out of my diagonal, and this is where we are now. So I now have a head and a shoulder and an arm, and I am now at 3.03%. For those of you who don't know, this was a birthday start for me 3 years ago. But I have progress on it. So I added up all of the stitches that I count, and I stitched 7,609 counted stitches in those 2 weeks. What I didn't count were my stitches on the Spirited Mandala, Little Things, Fleur-de-lis, Bird and Berries, and my PNP house. So with guessing that even if I said I put in 300 stitches on each of them, I did well over 8,000 stitches in 2 weeks, which blows my mind because I don't normally do that. It was a lot of fun, and I like the prompts ideas, as long as it's not like a certain number of stitches. If it's just a stitch on a piece, I really like those. Now the medals was fun because it was it was cheering on Team Canada, which I always do, and I took the idea of that and I'm going to take it and apply it to my Blue Jays games, because you know I'm a big Blue Jays fan, for the end of the season with my full coverage, in hopes that I get my yearly golds on them. So I've started on that with Warm at Home and Pride and Prejudice, and I've picked each game that we've had this week. I've picked a piece. Now I'm behind, of course, because that's me, but that's my goal now, is to spend as much time as I can stitching on my full coverage to get them to my yearly goals, end of year goal. So other than that, I made a few purchases, and I have a couple of shout outs. During the Olympics, I watched no Flostubers, so I got way behind, but I've caught up in the last week, and I'm actually about a month or so behind on my regulars. And then I have some channels that I've started at the beginning, and I'm about like a year and a half behind in those, because I'm trying to watch all their videos, because I like to do that. I like to get to know my Flostubers. So for my shout outs first, And last time I knew someone had shouted me out and I couldn't remember who it was, and I apologize. I thought it was Hannah at Ladybug Stitches, yeah. And she did at one point, but I think I may have said thank you to her on my channel before, but I can't remember if I did. But anyway, go check out Hannah. She's young, she's sweet. I love watching her. She's so sweet. She has an Etsy shop, and she's doing a monthly series, All Piled Up, I believe it's called, and they're so cute, and they're on my wish list for Etsy. So check her out. And the other person that did shout me out that I couldn't remember was Karen from the Stitching Owl. She's actually shouted me out in her recent video, which was yesterday's, which I haven't had a chance to watch, but thank you, Karen. And she shouted me out before because she completed the Darlene Dion design pattern that she chose from a giveaway that she won off of my channel. So check her out as well. Oh, and something else I've done in stitching since I saw you guys last was I FO'd my exchange piece, which I can't show you, and I won't show you until I know the recipient has received it. I hope to have it FFO'd before the weekend and in the mail. It's supposed to be in the mail by Labor Day weekend, but if I can get it out early, that would be great. Okay, my purchases. For any of you that are new, and I feel like I'm just talking a mile a minute, and I'm sorry, I'm afraid my phone is going to ring again. I am doing 55 new starts in 2025 because I am turning 55 in 2025. As of right now, I have all 55 pieces picked out. I would say 30 to 40 of those just came right out of my stash without thought of having to purchase anything. Now, I've had to purchase supplies for them, but I'm getting there. Now, they are subject to change. If between now and January I buy something that I really have to have and stitch. But right now, all 55 are in place. I have actually gotten, there were 3 I was going to start first, just by choice of wanting. One was a gift, and the other 2 I really wanted to start. One was a temperature treat, or temperature chart, so I'm definitely starting that in January. The other, then I looked at the calendar, and let's see, looked at the calendar for January. There's actually 5 weeks in it starts in January, so my son pulled. I put them all on a piece of paper, put them in a little container, and my son pulled 2. And that's how I'm picking my starts. He's pulling them. Now, he did pull a full coverage, and I said, no, I don't want to start that in January. Pull a different one. So, the last 4, I will show you what I have purchased for my last 4. So, first up is Enchanted Quaker by Luminous Fiber Arts. I had a piece of fabric. I don't know. Those of you who have been around for a while may remember I dyed a piece of fabric green. And I was like, I cannot figure out what I want to put on it. And when I was in Mississauga, the girls at Gita's helped me, went through their Hoffmans and found this, and I think it will look lovely on that piece. I'm gonna do a Brennan Nettle fabric thread, so I just have to bring the fabric in this pattern down and get one of the girls to help me figure out which thread I want to use. Next, it's the last of my A Time for All Seasons, the 4th one. It's Snow Time, which will be my winter piece for that. Excuse me if you can hear my stomach. I guess it's getting close to lunchtime. And then my favorite of the Tiny Towns, which is Seaside Tiny Town. Finally have gotten around to getting that. So that one. And my last one, as I told you earlier, you all know how much I love Blue Jays. I found Nini Design Crafts on Etsy, and they had gnomes with all kinds of different sports. So it was just my last one, and a fun one. So those are my last 4 out of the 55. I bought to keep track of it. Although this only holds 50 projects, there are some blank sheets in the back that I could add in 5 more off of Amazon. It's a project cross-stitch project planner. I'll just do a quick. It's got a stitching time log for you to fill in. So I just did that. It's a 2-year one. And then it's got where you can list your projects. So I have the first 3 written down there and filled in the other 2. And then each project, and I'll show you the first one, which is October 31st from Cottage Garden Samplings. Each one has a page like this where you can put your project name, the designer, the size, the start date, finish date, hours that you spent stitching, if it was stitched for you or a gift or sell or for others, and then the details for that, I guess, and then your materials, whether it's a kit, the fabric, the number of colors, and then you can list your, I guess, the threads you need or the threads that are in it, and then I get any notes. So I'm dyeing the fabric that I'm using for that, so I wrote it in, and there's enough of those for 50 projects. And then after that you have a monthly goals, monthly page goals, what you worked on, what you finished, your shopping list, and notes. And there's one of those for, like I said, it's a 2-year thing, so there's 24 of those. And then you have your favorite designers and shops, so you can write down those there. And then wish lists, and your patterns and kits inventory. A place for floss inventory. And then blank dotted paper, and that's where I figured I could fill in my last 5. No, I don't need to get a whole new book for 5 pieces. And other than that, I purchased also on Amazon some acrylic floss drops. I make my own. They're just like white cardstock and a pattern cardstock, and I glued 2 circles together. It makes them okay. Like, they're okay for like projects when you're not using them a lot, but I mostly stitch from a master set and they can tear pretty easily. So I broke down and bought a pack of floss drops. They have the hole for your ring, hole for your main fabric, and a little hole for your leftovers. They have a coating on each side, so you can see, and that's when the coating is off. So they're clear. I put a couple on them. I just waited until I could show you guys. So there's a pack of 50 of them from Hollycraft. Anyway, I can link the book and these down below, of course, from the Canadian Amazon site. And I think that's everything. Like, my plans are to keep stitching until the end of the year, and then things go nuts. I'm hopefully, like, this will be the last one before school starts, so hopefully once school starts I'll be back on a regular schedule of probably every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how much I get stitched. I think that is everything. If you have any questions on anything I've shown, let me know. I don't usually link every pattern, but if you want to know where I got a pattern, or anything more about any of the patterns and whips I've shown you, please comment below. I'm gladly answer any questions you have. I reply to everyone as quickly as I can. I think that's it. We're going to batten down the hatches for Ernesto, and you guys have a great rest of your day.